How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the Ardbeg Drum Whiskey Room. My name is Jason C, and if you're a subscriber, thanks so much for the support and for coming back. If you're new to the channel and looking for the latest in whiskey and bourbon news and reviews, you have found the right place, so hit that subscribe button below and hit that bell notification so you know when I'm releasing a new video. So today we are talking a little Ardbeg. So as a celebration of its fan base each year, Ardbeg holds a special event around the world called Ardbeg Day that ties together a series of celebrations with one very massive party at its Ìle-based facility. This year, the date I think is June 1st, and the theme looks to be a bit of a Caribbean twist. So to celebrate, Ardbeg has created the Ardbeg Drum, the latest committee release from the legendary Ìle distillery, in today's review. Alright guys, so as I mentioned, Ardbeg unveiled the theme and the whiskey that they will mark their annual Ardbeg Day with, and this year the distillery is planning to celebrate Ìle's rich history of carnivals with that Caribbean twist that we talked about and the release of Ardbeg Drum. This is the first ever rum-finished whiskey to be released by Ardbeg. Now, Ardbeg Day, which takes place on the last day of Ìle's Fèis Ìle, the Whiskey Island's annual festival of music and malt, will be held on Saturday, June 1st this year. Now, Ardbeg Day 2019 will have a spectacular Caribbean twist where Ardbeg fans everywhere are invited to take part in a celebration that will be resurrecting the island's carnival traditions. So according to Ardbeg, a long time ago, the last day of Fèis Ìle festival, the locals transformed everything from tractors to tricycles into these really cool floats. If it had wheels, they decorated it. It would make its way through Port Ellen and eventually to Ardbeg. This Ìle parade of color represents a long-standing love for festivity on the island. The Ardbeg distillery manager, Mickey Head, said that the Ardbeg Day Carnival is about embracing all things tropical. From music and dance to food and fashion, we're all set to revel in both culture and character. And we're delighted to introduce Ardbeg Drum, a celebration of all the mixed up, mashed up influences that make Ardbeg, Ardbeg. Now, of course, this brings us to today's review for Ardbeg Drum. This is a single malt, no age statement release. The single malt is aged initially in ex-bourbon barrels and then finished its maturation in rum casks. Like previous Fèis Ìle bottlings for the brand, Ardbeg will release two versions of the whiskey. This one is bottled at 52% ABV and is sold exclusively to Ardbeg Committee members, and the second version will be widely available after Ardbeg Day and sold at 46% ABV. So here's the close-up of the Caribbean-style label. As you can see here, with Ardbeg's last couple of committee releases, we've seen different special barrel treatments. The 2018 release, Ardbeg Grooves, was matured in heavily charred wine casks, and the 2017 Ardbeg Kelpie included liquid matured in casks made of oak grown and seasoned on the Ardbeg Republic's Taman Peninsula. Now, this bottle comes with this cool booklet that tells the story of the colorful Ìle celebrations and some more information about the bottle. As I mentioned, this is a non-age stated, bottled at 52% ABV, and was available as of March with a price tag around $120 to $130. So let's get into this one. I have poured this a few times, but we'll get into that. Get a nice pour of this. Move the booklet. All right, it's time to drum. All right, guys, so obviously I was pretty excited to review this, being called the Drum. Thought it was pretty cool. My goal was to sip a couple pours of this from this bottle before giving a review. I find the heavily peated expressions change a lot. And on the close-ups of the bottle, I don't know if you guys saw the stickers here. Here it says notes of pineapple, notes of banana, briny notes, and I just wasn't getting some of those tropical fruits on the first pour. So I've been letting it open it up a few times, poured it out. So really curious to see how it's opened up, and maybe it's changed a little bit. So first, let's go to the color here. So the color is extremely light. It's very Ardbeg-esque. It's got that golden straw color, almost like a champagne. It's very light, and it always packs so much flavor into that light whiskey. It's got really good legs. It's really sticking to the glass really well from that higher ABV. You know, really nice Ardbeg. So, all right, let's get into the nose and see what we get. So definitely get some fresh cut grass here on the nose right up front. You definitely get a lot of that peat smoke, obviously. There's definitely a little bit of a seaweed characteristic there on the nose too. But there are a lot of sweet flavors here. There is some definite... I'm definitely getting some deep, dark, rich vanillas and caramels on here too, apart from the ex-bourbon influence. There are some fruit flavors in here. There are, but to me, I'm still really not grabbing the banana or the pineapple. There might be a hint of that, but I'm getting more like a dates and cinnamon on the nose than anything. I mean, I think if you go really down deep here, I mean, it's opened up, like I said, the last 3 or 4 pours that I've had. And I think just now I could say there is a slight pineapple aspect coming through, but you really have to dig for it. It's not going to kind of jump out and get you, but the more that this has opened up, the fruitier it's gotten, and I think that rum influence is definitely making a little bit more of an impact as air gets to it. Yeah, but caramel, vanillas, peat smoke, obviously, that quintessential Ardbeg scent that you always get. It's got some, maybe like a barbecued pineapple aspect to it. It's sweet, it's tart, it's right there on the very end. But I'm getting a lot of dates and cinnamon too to kind of go along it to give it that sweetness. Really nice in the nose. All right, guys, let's go for the first sip. Let's try the drum. Here we go. Cheers. So right off the bat, the smoke, the peatiness, that creosote flavor, that lingering pepperiness right there on the back of the palate, kind of making its way down already. Really good on the first sip, but just real quintessential Ardbeg there on the first sip. Let's go for the second sip, see if we can get any more flavors. Here we go. Yeah, flavors have opened up a little bit more, but they still haven't really, they're not bursting out that I was hoping it would. You're still getting some of that, you are getting that vanilla and caramel sweetness, I think, on the very end. I'm also getting an interesting ginger note there, too. There's a ginger, and right on the very end, I'm getting a little bit of a chocolate note there, which is kind of nice. But I'm still really reaching for this pineapple banana flavor, really not getting it yet. Let's go in for another sip. All right, so on the third sip, the peat smoke character, that creosote, that fresh cut grass flavor is kind of leveling out a little bit. And now you're starting to pull some other flavors here. Now I'm getting some more of those deep, rich vanillas and caramels. But on the end, I am getting a slight sharpness of a tropical fruit there. It's, I don't think it's really, I'm getting more pineapple on the nose, though, than I'm getting on the palate. To me, it's more of it's not as sharp as a pineapple. Maybe it's a little bit more subdued, like a mango or something like that. Still getting a nice peppery finish. Still getting that nice dark chocolate note there on the end. It's starting to evolve a little bit. Let's go in for another sip here. Cheers. All right, so for me, the rum influence is just right at the very, very end. The front of the palate is just all smoke. It's all Ardbeg. It is beautiful, delicious, peaty smokiness. But that rum influence it's not really jumping out to me at all. It's got a little bit of that fruity character to it, but it's coming through as more of a barbecued fruit, like maybe a barbecued pineapple or a barbecued mango. It's got a smoky aspect to it. The finish on it is lingering, but it's got a bite to it, which makes me think that this could be a younger whiskey, maybe a 7, 8, 9-year-old in that regard. It's a non-age statement, so I'm really not sure. But the bite to it on the very end is making me think it's a little bit on the younger side. Let's go for one last sip. Here we go. Cheers. All right, so the last sip, the full experience here. We have smoke, we have peat, we have that peppery kind of lingering finish there. The fruit flavors are also there, the rum influence, but I don't feel like it's making enough of an impact to be like, wow, this was definitely aged in some rum casks. I mean, you really have to search for it. It's on the very, very end of the palate. It's not really jumping out at you. It's just a really delicious, higher proof Ardbeg. That peppery finish, it's more like short to medium. It's not super long, which again makes me think it could be a younger whiskey in here. So it's a great Ardbeg. I find it delicious, but is it enough to separate itself from others that I've had? All right, guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour a little bit of the 10 here. I'm just curious how, if I'm doing the comparison between the Ardbeg 10 and the drum, how much of a difference there's going to be in flavor. Obviously, there's a difference in ABV, but just in the straight flavor profile, I want to see if I could really get a big difference, because this gets very sweet the more it opens up. So I'm just curious. Let's compare the noses real quick. Okay, this one definitely has a little bit more of a sugary sweetness to it from the drum. Has to be from that rum cask influence. But this has gotten sweet as well. This is just a little bit more of a meaty, like a barbecue meaty sweetness than a sugar sweetness. But yeah, I mean, the noses are pretty close. It's just kind of a different type of sweetness there. Let's go to the palate on the 10. Here we go. Cheers. Okay, yeah. You're not going to get the ABV punch of this committee release, but you're getting that peatiness. You're getting that smokiness. You get all those quintessential Ardbeg flavors that you know and you love. There is some sweetness there, but it's like a barbecued kind of meaty sweetness. I think there's some like barbecue peach in here, which is what I always call to. All right, let's compare it with the drum here. Cheers. Yeah, this one has that extra, just like a touch extra of sweetness there, I think. And I think that's attributed to the rum casks. It's got a little hint of a brown sugar. There is a tangy type of tropical fruit sweetness there that's right on the very end that you're not getting in the 10. But is it as much of a stretch or is it as much of a difference to really kind of justify the price difference? Honestly, I don't think so. All right, guys, so the Ardbeg Drum, I really love what Ardbeg is doing in the celebration and bringing in that type of Caribbean flair to it to help celebrate the Fèis Ìle festival. But if you're just talking about the whiskey here, I just don't feel like there's much of a difference in this bottle to justify the price point. My favorite Ardbeg of all time is the Dark Cove, and I don't think this one really comes near that. I think you get very, very similar flavors from the Ardbeg 10 for a much cheaper price. Now, if you're a collector of the committee releases, have at it. But if you're just an Ardbeg drinker and you're looking for something new, something different, something that'll really wow you, even though there are some flavor differences in here that set itself apart from the Ardbeg 10, I just don't feel like it's enough to warrant the price jump. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this review for the Ardbeg Drum. I had a great time sipping on it. I really did like it, but I just feel like I actually wish it had a little bit more of a rum influence to it. But you know what? Let me know what you think. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button below. Please hit that like button. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Also, if you haven't yet, find me on Instagram and find me on Twitter. Love talking with you guys, and like I always say, it is not about the whiskey, it is the people you share it with. So I'm going to raise my glass and I'm going to keep drumming. Cheers, everybody, and I'll see you soon.